Hey, listeners. Today's episode is brought to you by Kind Bar. Kind is deeply committed to crafting food with real, recognizable ingredients, a disruptive notion that sparked the creation of a new, healthy snacking category. Kind is unapologetic in their efforts to challenge the status quo, to shift the food industry, and empower the community and our listeners to make better, more informed choices about their health. Kindness can be a transformative force for good, and that is why we are teaming up with Kind to bring our listeners 10% off or 15% off for military, teachers, students, first responders, doctors, and nurses. Go to podgo.co/kind. That's podgo.co/kind. Kind Bar, creating a kinder and healthier world. One act, one snack at a time.
I'm a professional, Carl. Are we recording? Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am Andy, your host, and joined as always with Jordan Chavez of Speedwell.
Yo!
Carl Heine of the New World Tavern.
Hello, everybody.
Dan Mahoney from Stats in South Boston.
Sup, dog?
And a returning guest, Jeff Nardone of the Mayflower Brewery.
Hello.
So we were just talking about what we're going to talk about today, Jeff, and we figured we'd talk about beer. Jeff, what's beer?
Beer is life.
Now, we haven't had a brewer on in ages, so I mean, I feel like beer and alcohol is what makes this industry go.
There would be no industry without the alcohol. People aren't coming out drinking Coca-Cola.
Not since they took the Coke out.
But we haven't had anyone on since the whole COVID thing and to-go beers and to-go cocktails and all that bullshit. But, like, how's it changed for Mayflower? Like, what's the story? And we can all leave now while he talks.
Go get a beer. Yeah. What would you do? You'd go get a beer. I would say the brewing industry has been. It depends on who you are. If your income's based on a local tap room, you're just in the same boat that the local bars and restaurants are in. Restricted guidelines. If you have any type of packaging capability and you're distributing. Package stores are having the time of their life right now. This is a boom that they're going to talk about for years. And it looks like it's going to maintain for another, 6 months or...
A month and a half.
A month
2
and a
weeks.
half. Beautiful.
2 weeks? That's what I've heard.
When's the inauguration?
That's my
I heard this was over November 4th.
Yeah. So it's mixed. For Mayflower, I will say we're fortunate enough that we'll probably, just come close to breaking even or whatever. But we're fortunate that we have package stores that we sell to and business partners that sell our beer at package stores throughout New England and New York. So,
and you guys did the whole outside
that was
thing and serving food. And
so it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to the taproom staff and Sarah, our taproom manager, tons more work. And from their perspective, putting everything up and taking it down and, getting all the tables up. And then if it rains, because we don't live in a place where it's not going to rain potentially every day. Doing all that is extra work, but we had more seats. And I think our customers enjoyed it. We were outside. They could have a beer outside. The town, to me, really embraced the outside in a way that we've all been hoping for a million years.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. Outside drinking. People want to drink beers outside. It's summertime. It's the best time to be in New England as a guest or a visitor. Why are we not outside enjoying the views? So,
and I think that's why everyone lost business to Water Street in the summers, because they all have patios or designed around and outside seating. And
yeah,
you guys may only have Mayflower had a bunch, but Speedwell had 4 tables, 3.
We ended up with 3.
3, but I mean, it was always, something. It was nice. You guys were always, those 3 were always full.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
With that being said, we had a beer garden that got closed because of COVID. So it's kind of just kind of moving with the flow. Mm-hmm. That's what we did this year. We decided early on we were going to release everything we had planned on. We were just going to move forward with it. It was just going to be more in cans than draft. We did throw a whole bunch of beer out earlier this year that we had prepared to sell. And what stinks for us and for everybody that's particularly here at the table is the beginning of the year started off great. Business was booming at every place.
Everyone I talked to was
I'm sure
like, this
Boston
is the
was
year.
the same way.
Yep.
But locally here, everyone was out and people were bustling and excited for 2020. And then
crazy,
the lockdown just kind of, so that hurt watching, if you watch your numbers go just plummet.
I had my best.
Stop watching numbers and you just hoping you don't get it.
Yeah. I had my best, Speedwell had its best week of sales ever. 2 weeks. That was like the last week of February going into the first week of March. And then we beat that week the week after. And then we got shut down by COVID. It was fucking like, holy shit, like 2020. And in Plymouth, like the whole 400 thing, you know what I mean? It was supposed to be the biggest year ever. And like, we're all like, wow, is this really how this year is going to be? And then we just got shut down.
Yeah. So Inebriart, I mean, Jeff knows, like we had so much stuff planned this year. We had breweries booking us in December, in January to do stuff. And like me and Fish had a sit down conversation being like, okay, like what's this going to look like? Who's quitting their day job first to do Inebriart full time? And like, how's this all going to pan out? And then like a month later, you're like, oh, I got furloughed, so I guess I'm quitting my day job. It's been a weird year, but there's been me personally, it's been a rough year, but there's been a lot of good things this year too. Like not nearly as awful as the awful thing, or not as good as the awful things, but are there things that Mayflower experienced that you would either ideas that have come up that you're like, oh, this is carrying over, or like what's the good part that came out of this year?
To me, the good part was, the customers. The customers in the store started shopping more, and because they're shopping at home on their computer, looking at the inventory, and they're looking at things, so they started reading labels more, and they started looking at labels more. So label art became a little bit more important for us this year. I know it's been important for the beer industry for many years, but to me, the customers started shopping better and became more knowledgeable about craft beer. And I think that's kind of it's one of those things where we did curbside pickup and online ordering.
You have like a kind of like a drive-through over there right now. It's pretty rad.
Online ordering, I feel like, is not going to go away for us now. And we had an online store, but people wouldn't order beer and go order it ahead of time or anything like that. So, that stuff will stick, I think. There's a few. I just hope people continue to drink this much beer at home.
Right. Do you think you do the outdoor seating again? Like the way?
For us, the outdoor seating got expanded, and if the town gives it to us, which I hope they do, absolutely.
Yeah.
The outdoor seating was awesome this year. We increased the amount of people we could have, and so that to me, we had to staff it differently. We had to add more and do different things. But I feel like by the end of the year, Sarah and her team got everything together, and we're nailing it. So
nice.
Yeah, again, depends on the customer coming in. But
the people there really wanted to be there. I think we've only run like 2 or 3 events all year. One of them was our fall marketplace at Mayflower, and it happened to fall. It got bumped. And it happened to fall on like the last nice weekend in November. Like it was fucking beautiful. I was like 60. So the outdoor seating was packed. The food guy was like an hour wait for food. It was crazy. And at one point there was a line of people, and Sarah went, "We're not seating anyone for an hour because you had to be able to provide food. Because if they got a beer and got up and left, you get in trouble." So she's like, "We're not seating anyone for an hour," and no one in line got out. They're all like, okay, cool.
Carl was doing the food?
No. Not that took it out.
Not that took it out.
Everybody pulled out their vape pen and said, "No problem."
Vape vape pen. What the hell is a vape pen?
Do you guys in general feel that very much in March and April there was like a huge support local? Is that still here? Is that still going to happen?
I mean,
because this is going up. This is going to go right now. We're recording in December. This is going to go up in late January. So
I'll go real quick and then just let these guys talk.
Yeah, that's nice that you let these guys talk on their own podcast.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like having two Jordans.
Fuck. That makes me nervous.
I love the commercials on TV now. You know, the TV's telling you to go support your local restaurant, go support your local establishment. Everything leading up to Christmas, I saw a whole bunch of ads because we're all at home and watching TV and seeing ads. I saw a whole bunch of ads about shopping local and support the people that support you. There's even one that has a super catchy tune that almost reminds me of like 1-800-Mattress or something.
Can you sing it for us?
No, I can't remember.
It's real catchy, but I can't remember.
No, I'm not going to try to sing it because it's actually really kind of hip and trendy, and so I can't do that. But the whole ad has this catchy tune, and it's all about shop local, whatever local means to you, and shop at your local stores and support those that supported you when you were in the past. And, flashing signs up like, support my local soccer team or this or that. And we've seen that on Instagram, and we've seen all these things about, hey, you asked me for a sponsorship. Now I'm, come in here.
I've donated gift cards for the last 7 years every time you've asked. And
exactly. So that much I hope stays.
Yeah.
I hope that stays, and I hope we don't just turn the page when everything's better and people keep going back out. And that Main Street's particularly, when we look at our hometown here, this Main Street doesn't survive if everyone goes to the other exits to get the big food and the big, big box stores and stuff like that. So that I hope stays.
We'll talk about the local. You're the local brewery here in Plymouth, right?
One of, to be fair.
One of them.
Yeah.
But you are the local brewery. You're a local brewery here in Plymouth. But you distribute in other states.
That's correct.
So does that hurt you in other states where they're pushing local, and you're not the local guy out there? So how does your sales really compare outside of local? Is it hurting you or helping it?
Holy shit, Carl, that's a really good question.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that was really good. I think we don't get outside of New England, so I think it's local enough, and it always depends on who's shopping. So and who's in the store selling it. So honestly, the local hasn't hurt us.
I was gonna say, like, piggybacking the way you ended, talking about hoping that everybody rallies around local and doesn't go to the big food stores. I think the being a local place is definitely an appeal, but we've talked about it on a previous episode before. Carl and I were on one, and we were talking about how, like, yeah, sure, we want support from people because we're local, but we don't want that to be the reason they're coming to us. We want them to come to us because we have a good product. And I think that of Plymouth, that most of the smaller businesses just have a better product. I mean, I'd rather get a burger at New World or Speedwell or another place than go to one of those bigger places. And I think most people do it local purchasing without even realizing it. You know what I mean? Because they want something better. I love the campaign. I'm all for it. But I also don't want it to become like where it's like a charity thing too, where you feel like it almost becomes reverse beneficial when everyone's like, oh, you got to shop local. Like, why are you hammering that over my head? Of course I'm going to shop local. It's better. Like, it tastes better. It's better service. There's better this.
Yeah, but in the industry that you see now, and I shouldn't say but I guess I agree with you, but if you don't have, and especially now, which in this pandemic that we're at, if you don't have a good product, you're out of business.
Right.
Yeah.
You're out of business because you can't survive on the people coming in now, and if you don't have a good product, nobody's going to come.
Right.
And those, maybe that's a big reason for a lot of these places closing down. I'm not sure. But if you don't have a good product, you're not in business anymore.
Right. Just because I was born and raised here and, and I literally was not born and raised in Plymouth, but just saying theoretically, and I own a business in Plymouth and I pay taxes in Plymouth and I donate to your thing, but I'm serving shit on a shingle. I'm not expecting you to come pay $20 for shit on a shingle just because I'm the local guy.
Right.
I'm not resting on that
Just because you're
lateral.
local doesn't mean people are going to come visit.
Right. You got to make a good product, and Mayflower does that. And that's why it does sell well outside of the town of Plymouth, because you guys are making good juice.
So
Thanks for that.
Way back when this started, there was a Facebook, I'm going to say friend with quotation marks around it, of mine that was this whole thing's a scam. There's no virus. It's the flu, blah, blah, blah. You only die if you're a weak person or an ill person. But he was also a business owner and was like, the government's trying to shut down my business. And I had just had it. And I'm like, don't worry, only the weak businesses are going to fail. Mm-hmm. But there's a bit of truth to that. Like, if you're not going to work and adjust and, buckle down, and if you weren't producing a good product already, you're way more likely to fail.
Right.
I will say, though, just because I don't want... There are a lot of places that decided to shut their shutters because it was the right business decision. And I don't disagree with that.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't either.
Right. And it's not all... And I've gone on that rant before.
With the intention... that they would reopen and be just like, if I can't do it like this, I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to give my employees an opportunity to go do something.
And there's a place here in town, and I'm not going to say names because I don't know. I don't know the person who owns it. I've only heard through, kind of through the grapevine, who has been closed since the first shutdown, has stayed closed because they own the building, and he's like, I'm going to lose less money this way than if I open and try to make it.
It costs more money to stop the car than it does to leeve it in the driveway. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's like that's...
I thought that was only with diesels.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Everybody's situation is different. And I've gone on that rant before where I was like, it was more so for the people that were complaining and playing the victim, I think. That's the way I feel about it. It's like, if you have the energy to complain about the way that things are instead of using that energy to try to figure it out and make it better, then I don't really feel bad for you.
If you have time to lean, you have time to clean.
Yeah, you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Exactly. So, but it's the people. There are people that are out there genuinely trying, and you're starting to see it now more than ever when we're getting into that scary winter months. Yeah, genuinely fucking trying and doing everything they can, and it's just still not enough because you're up against it. Everybody's building's a different size, everybody's rent's different, your staff's different, your product's different, and no one knew oh man, I need to have a product that's going to work really well during COVID. Like these really high end restaurants, people aren't taking filet mignon and stuffed lobster to go. They might for New Year's Eve, but you know what I mean? They're not, people aren't spending, and right now, and then the economy's shit the bed, so people aren't spending $50 on a steak either. So there's a lot of people that are dealing with that obstacle as well, where maybe if things were normal, that would have worked, but it kind of sucks.
And then you have to make that choice of, do I want to lower the price and quality of what I'm making?
Yeah. You go against what the whole, right. And then you're
just trying, you're grasping at straws. You're trying anything.
I had a good product. I just didn't have a good product for COVID. But who the fuck was trained for COVID? You know what I mean? It was
there's a local restaurant that serves really good steaks and refused to give me a to-go steak in years past because it just wouldn't present the same way.
Right.
And even though I begged, but
put it in your pocket, dude.
Yeah, but I recently, sorry, Jordan, I recently ordered a fillet with a lobster tail on it to go.
Good for you.
And it was, I took it out, I put it on my own plate. But it just wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. No. It's just different.
And that meal, when you get it, that steak, that's that fish and that surf and turf experience. That's the ultimate eating experience. You want to really get it when it's bubbling fresh.
Still sizzling.
Just the presentation.
But I mean, you can say that.
And they're selling that.
And we're starting up soon. Hopefully by the time this is running, that will already be up and run.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing delivery.
Right.
And the questions that we have here are what is going to be able to deliver with the quality that we want by the time you get it. And the biggest question we have is what everybody does for delivery, burgers. I mean, by the time you get a burger, if you get a medium burger, it's going to be medium well or well done, and it's going to be that bottom bun is going to be soggy. And so, what do you do? What do you do?
Stop putting pickles in the box, first of all.
Because everything just tastes like pickles.
That's just one example.
But if you can find
a worry about
fries,
how
man.
you change your.
If you can get fries crisp.
Well, they're crisp when they left.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like I've never gotten delivery fries.
22 degrees out. By the time the guy gets to your house,
all that condensation,
2 minutes.
humidity,
That's
there's
right.
but
right back
it's
to
like
life.
a cup of water on the top of the container by the time you get there. And so this is what I talk about when I say, our tap room, we had to do all these extra things. This is the extra thing. You guys are changing menus so that it presents well to go.
Right.
And so that's people trying and changing, Jordan, like you had just said. So you can either tackle it and try to move forward or shut down. Whatever the best plan is.
Yeah, just don't do something in between. And don't tell everyone else that it's their fault that you're not doing well. Like you got to it's your restaurant, it's your business. You got to make the big boy decision, big girl decision. Decide what's best. Like you can't just wait for someone else to decide for you or to help you. And don't be the victim. Like I don't know. It's just the way I've always looked at it. But I do. I feel
we're a little different down here in downtown Plymouth because we're a community of local shops and restaurants, and there's a lot within walking distance.
Yeah.
If you're a standalone restaurant or a business that is out in the middle, I'll say the middle of nowhere, but say in the middle of a town that is by itself, and you're not getting the business that you can get. Because everybody in that town is maybe a little afraid to go out, then really those are the people I feel sorry for.
Yeah, me too.
You're not getting any sidewalk traffic. You're not getting people that are just walking around on a nice day. You are one of those people that people are going there just for you, and now they're not going out at all. So
and maybe like
those are the businesses that I think are going to get hurt the most.
Do you think that's the case? Though, like if you were the only so I think of
not the only.
No, but like
by itself.
So let's say there is a decent to small size town that has 4 or 5 solid restaurants. Wouldn't you think that they would do better? Because there's like less competition and like people still, maybe in the first couple months.
You might not have that big of a town. It might be a small town.
Well, that's different.
I mean, you go.
You're gonna if you open up a big restaurant in a small town in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're kind of up against it anyway.
You might see that specialty restaurant that you were doing really, really well,
right?
And now you got to cut it down to nothing, and nobody's coming in.
Like, what about those
25% capacity?
I just look at it as all relative, I guess.
Yeah. Like maybe a rural restaurant in like New Hampshire. Where it might be based solely on, our summer is where we make all our money and we shut down for the winter. And you're in rural New Hampshire, so delivery is not really an option.
Right.
Well, now you're getting to fight in the weather, too.
Right, yeah. So we got 8 feet of snow today and 4 deliveries. Who's taking it? Yeah. I mean, there's so many different possibilities that he's suffering through that. It's
true.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've had more conversations with chefs recently about what the best to-go container is.
They'll show you.
I feel like we've gotten that question here on this podcast.
I feel
we did not answer it.
This is the one that vents that keeps the burger bun from getting too soggy.
None of them do.
Yeah.
None of them do because you stack the containers on top of each other. You're just creating this like giant insulated thing either way.
So this is the COVID business that needs to come up.
Yeah.
Right. This is stuff that you don't think about.
We have,
but there is no solution.
We have space age technology that this could be the delivery container that the astronauts use on the space shuttle.
It's called using a container for every ingredient. Like bun goes in one container, lettuce goes in another, pickles go in another. Like,
well, then that's a whole other thought that we've had here is maybe we don't make anything. We just give you the ingredients like
Blue Apron.
Say, DLT. Here's 3 burgers. Here's your buns. Here's all your sides. Go make them at home. You got everything right there.
There were a few restaurants downtown that screwed around with that. Yep. When we're really early on, it was just takeout only. Like they were like, we're gonna give you everything. Like build your own taco kit. I think Los Jefes did it, and Sugasa did build your own. Yeah. And then like the cocktail mixers, which I know they're doing.
Cocktail mixers. Don't ever stop.
Yeah, that was really smart.
I drink beer because you can just pop a can. I don't make my own drinks. There's a bunch of bartenders sitting here looking at me in front of these microphones. Make me everything I need and tell me how to do it.
Everybody. He's shaking right now.
Because I want to use the shaker.
I want to shake it and pour it over ice. That's all I want to do. I don't want to pour anything in it. I don't want to have to measure anything. And that's what we're doing.
Jordan said the McBLT, which for our listeners who are, I don't know, 37 and older know what the hell that is. But they would serve like the hot. It was a Burger King container.
Hot side hot.
There was
Cold
like two
side
sides, and you folded
But it wasn't
in
a
half.
big BLT.
I think it wasn't.
No. Give it to me a minute.
No, Carl's 60, remember. Don't forget.
This was not that old. This was like this was the
you're
last styrofoam container they made. This was the one where they're like, that's excessive.
Yeah. Not the light blue one that had the fillet of fish in it.
No,
I remember the baby yellow one.
but because basically it was two
That was fish.
containers connected that you folded in half. But what if you shipped the patty cooked in some sort of thing that kept it warm, and then the fixings separate?
You could. Now you could do all this, and I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
But now you just spent $13 on
Packaging,
takeout
right?
packaging,
Yeah, I know.
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's
now
tough to do and have people really
$10 burgers
appreciate
are
it.
$30
Never mind.
burgers.
Never mind.
When you go to a bar, and here's another question we're asking ourselves now with this delivery coming up is now we can do delivery beer. So is
No
it
shit, really?
is
I
it
didn't even
what
know
I
this.
want to sell it for at the brewery price when you can go to the brewery? But
Yeah.
I'm losing a lot of money because if I charge $8 for a 16-ounce can here of craft beer, nobody's going to buy a 4-pack for $32.
Right.
So do I lower my price and make less of a margin and sell more? But how much more am I really selling? And is it worth actually delivering beer at that
Can you
price?
do the delivery cocktails too?
Yep.
Do I have to get food in order to get delivery cocktails? And how many cocktails can I
It
get?
depends on who you know.
Making plans. All right. Okay. I know some people.
Be a fun New Year's Eve. Getting delivered cocktails.
I'll take 40 old fashions.
Yeah, but see, the only problem is
and an order of
we've got
fries.
this
Is that
new one
substantial?
on-
All muddled
maybe
fresh.
we'll stay open and just do delivery cocktails on New Year's Eve, but you get the same guy calling, hey, can I get 2 more over here? Hey, can I get 2 more at this house?
Can you bring over speed
Order them
for
all
me?
at once, will you?
So the real question is what is it going to cost you, Carl? What is it going to cost me to have you come make me a burger at my house and then serve it to me, just like you do here?
Oh, just a couple of beers.
Oh, okay.
Is your wife going to be there?
No.
Then I'm busy.
That wasn't creepy
Not
at all.
anymore. Not anymore.
Then I'm busy. She likes me.
Are you guys up for some questions?
Sure.
Now that, Carl's creeped on Jeff's wife. It's fine.
It's not the first time.
It's not
I am
creepy if
not
she likes
even surprised. All right, let me pull up some questions.
Good.
All right.
First question
I said let me pull up some questions.
by Alexa Shekavanakalakpas.
Jesus.
You just said Alexa, and that has set off everyone's Alexa.
Yes, how can I help?
Alexa, order New World Tavern to go.
Carl immediately runs to the kitchen. I'm on my own over here.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I don't know. No, sorry, that's not a question. Sorry. I asked and I wasn't prepared. That's
That's
fault,
all right.
Carl. Fish is going to edit this out to make me seem like not a douche.
We're just watching people try to come in a New World Tavern and spend money.
Yeah, we're closed. I had to close down for the day to do this podcast.
I don't know if that's
They can
true.
go to Speedwell. Oh, wait. Speedwell's closed too.
All right, this is
Because even though this podcast was supposed to start at 12, people show up at 12. It's 12:30 before
I
we
was
get everything set
I was
up.
here at
And then-
12.
Yeah, here at 12.
No, I was here
We're
before
supposed to be
12.
starting.
Yeah,
at 12.
We were waiting on Dan. We were waiting on Dan today.
Hey, well, you don't
So-
get defensive. I just
You're
said,
the one that's getting all hot.
I know,
I'm not-
right?
Listen, I came on
Don't
brand of
speak
what
to
time I
me
show
in
up
that-
for things.
So this is from Lee.
is never late.
This is from Lee Siegel. What is your opinion on owner managers waiting tables, not in the weeds?
Carl does a great job at
I
it.
don't understand the question.
So I
They're
would
scheduled, then what the hell's the problem?
I don't know. That's all the question says.
We've had this question before.
Yeah. So
was more
I would
about
say,
tips,
yeah,
but-
so if you have an owner and it's a smaller restaurant and they have to survive by tips and
Yeah.
that's what they do.
Yeah, overhead
And
fucking sucks.
if you're a server or a bartender that doesn't like it, get a job somewhere else. I mean,
I feel like I think Jordan said it all. If they're scheduled, if they decide to schedule themselves, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine recently, and they're like, "Oh, this person constantly asks for more hours, and then every time they're there, they want to be cut first."
That's
So-
my fucking favorite thing.
It's so common.
Yeah.
Money, but I don't want to work
So
for
it's
it.
one of those like
It's crazy.
They want to leave first,
Yeah.
so they don't have to do any of the side work.
Right. No, they want to make the money and
They
take
want
the
to
money
make
and
money
run.
and run.
So it's, are they taking a table from you, or is it their scheduled shift? Because if they're taking a table from you, that's
Yeah, but
shit.
why would they do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's common at all.
I'm just trying to make this question make sense.
if that's what's happening, that place isn't going to be around very long.
Yeah, you
Where,
probably
like,
shouldn't work there either
yeah,
way. then.
imagine that. Like it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The owner walks in. And is like, I'm going to take a couple of these tables from
But
you.
it also works the other way.
It's a beer.
When it's busy and the owner's in there, they say, "Well, can you take a couple of tables for me?" Well,
Well, he said, "Oh shit, I hit the thing." He said not weeded. He said specifically when they asked the question, they were like, "Not in the weeds."
I'm morphing the question.
Oh, well, more.
he's answered the question that wasn't asked. Come on,
Yeah.
are you
That's
new
what
here?
we do.
So when you walk into your own place and it's busy, and they're like, "Well, can you help me out?" And then they expect to make all the tips, and they're not going to help you out, but I'm doing half their work.
That's a great point.
Do you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, I'll take all the help I can get."
But you own the place. Like, you should want to.
You should.
You should
absolutely.
do that.
It's the perception of the server
Yeah.
or the bartender that says, "Well, the owner's here. Why don't you just help me?" Well, what, you want me to help you make all this money? I mean, there's 3 people at the bar and 2 tables. What do you need help with?
Yeah.
Oh, can you run the dishwasher?
It's exactly what we said before. If you're not there, they're going to figure it out. But
That's
as soon as you're in the building, they expect like the
That's
free
right.
help. Yeah.
I've actually been dining with someone that
Who?
didn't tip because the owner waited on the table.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's
That's-
what I said.
Absolute bullshit.
I
They're
just
like,
don't
but that's the owner. And
Jeff,
I said,
Jeff,
so
I don't-
what?
relative, right?
I don't
So
tip
what?
Carl
That's
because he
your
gives
server.
bad service, not because he owns.
Nobody tips Carl.
Yeah, all right.
Nobody tips Carl. That's fine.
One guy told me to stop waiting tables.
Really?
Here's a tip for you. You're horrible at this. Yeah, I mean, that's not an uncommon.
Yeah, that we talked
That's
about
not
that
a unique
quite a few
thought.
times.
Yeah.
It's not a unique thought. Like if
Nope.
you guys rolled out to a table, people would say, "All right, I don't need to tip him as much as I need to tip their
Right.
server because they're the owners and they
Get
getting
the
a take on
restaurants
the
losing
meal."
money and the guys,
Right.
I do. I started as a bartender, and I don't bartend at Speedwell. I did at the beginning. I had 1 shift a week, and then I took myself the schedule because it turned into when you make yourself the face of the business. Like people, you end up being a detriment to the bar.
Yes.
You're not bartending anymore. You're socializing.
Yep.
You're making sales. You're making deals.
and then
People
when it's
expect
busy,
free
people are like,
things.
"Oh, how come you didn't talk to me for 15
Yeah, exactly. And then you hurt the identity of your business because you're not giving everybody the attention they think they deserve because everybody wants to know the owner. So putting myself out there is like throwing a lion in a cage. You know what I mean? It's like you can't. And then if you're, God forbid, you're working with another bartender. So like you put me on with somebody else, I'm not carrying my weight as a bartender, but I'm splitting tips with that person at the end of the night. You know, I'm giving away drinks. So like the tabs aren't as high. Tip detriment too. I'm maybe not getting tipped as much because people are like, "Oh, look how busy this place is. He's making his money there. I don't have to tip him." So like now the bartender I'm working with that I'm pulling with is making less. And it just became so complicated. Nobody ever really complained staff wise, but it was just, I don't want to be here. They don't really could do better without me here. And then you trap yourself with this. Certain people you don't want to talk to, and they know you're there every Friday night. The salesmen, the everything, they know they got you trapped. You can't just take off and hide when you're working your bar shift. You're stuck back there. So now you got to do this, and it's like,
Well, then you get the other view of it where, let's say it's a Saturday night and you're really, really busy and business is getting busier and busier every Saturday, getting a little more and more. And then you have the servers and the bartender saying, we need a bar back and someone to do dishes and we need this and we need that. Say, no. How about if I just put another server on?
right, yep, cost less per hour,
Costs less for me because I'm paying them tipped wages.
right, and you can't keep up.
And then they can split all the tips. So I'll say, well, instead of you having 6 tables, I'll give you 4, and I'll give somebody else 4, and then I'll get 3 people instead of 2. Oh, no. But they want somebody in the background doing all their stuff so it doesn't build up.
You put on another server, it's less per hour.
Yep.
Everybody gets better
gets
service. Everybody gets better service. There's more people to do side work at the end of the night.
Yep.
It costs you less per hour. And then you're freed up from doing the charity work every time you walk in the door. No one understands that. The bar back thing it doesn't make any sense.
I think this is a little bit of the grass is always greener kind of thing where as an employee, especially if you're a younger employee, you look at the business owner and be like, oh, they got to be fucking loaded. You know, they own a restaurant. This place is always packed. You don't think about liability insurance and all the like nickel and dime things that like just eat away at every little bit of
It's one of the lowest profit margins.
Yeah,
of, I think
I need a permit so some guy can come here and play music and then have to pay the guy too. You know, like all that shit.
And there's no way to measure how much that's bringing you in unless you're charging a ticket at the door, and then a cut of that is going as well. And then you're also paying ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, which are all music licensing companies every year too. So if you have people going in your bar and playing 90s grunge and covering all these songs, well, now they don't have to pay the licensing fee. Right. The business has to pay the licensing fee on top of paying that musician for coming into your bar with no way to measure if it's actually making your business money. No, nothing against musicians. I love the local musicians in town. They drive business. They promote. They're great people. They come in when they're not playing music. They spend money, and that's fine. But those are expenses that I think the general public doesn't understand.
Yeah, even like not just general public, but like someone who's waited tables for maybe 4 years and they've had a bad night, and the owner's there getting tips, waiting on like 4 tables. Right. And they're like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Blah blah.
So here's my question.
My tips are going to payroll.
Based on that,
Jeff, you have to email your questions to bartalk@gmail.com.
Sorry, it's not going to happen. But getting to the original question,
that's not how we do things around
here. So this is for Carl and Jordan. When would you two walk in and take tables? Only in what scenario?
Not knowing that we had to.
Yeah,
I guess is that your question? So if we were short-handed on a Saturday night and I knew I was going to, or are you saying, hey, I just stopped in on a Saturday night or any night, Wednesday night, we're a lot busier than I thought, I would jump in right away.
Yeah, but I would bus. I wouldn't I wouldn't log in under a number on the computer and just start taking tables and greeting people at the door and be like, I'm in the rotation.
We would have the server take orders, and I would run the food, I would run the drinks, so we're kind of working together. But as long as that server could hit every table, then they're seeing one person.
So the guy that asked the question, or the lady that asked the question, I'm not sure, I'm sorry. But that sounds like an owner that's walking in and taking tables.
Right.
That sounds like a legit gripe, actually.
Yeah, it's a unique situation.
Yeah.
Well, it is true. Because you guys, they weren't scheduled.
Because it specifically said not in the weeds. But we also, like, locally, I know John Luce at Lucioso's works Sunday bar.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't come in and take it. He just works Sunday bar.
Wednesday bar, too.
Is Wednesday. I just know he works.
It's my order date.
Okay. Perfect example of the sales guy knowing when he's caught at work. But yeah, I mean, that's just his shift. Is he wrong for scheduling himself a shift and taking tips?
No, absolutely not.
But if you go to John,
could he be giving that to someone else? Sure.
Doesn't matter, but it's his business. Like, it's not like he took it from someone else.
Right.
He's just always done it, Like,
tip him. I don't even pay the tab. I just leave.
I always work Tuesday
Don't
days.
Don't eat the fish in the river next to your restaurant.
All right, next question.
All right. Sorry, Jordan.
No, you're good, dude. You're good.
All right. This is from Diane Marie. I had a guy, not necessarily a regular, but an occasional customer, tell me I should cut him a deal because if he and his 2 friends didn't come in, the bar would be dead. So therefore his alcohol should be cheaper. Is this normal mentality? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Yes.
Everybody wants something for less.
Of course. That's the point. Getting value for your dollar, right?
Everybody, I think, everybody appreciates when the owner's there and they give them a free beer.
You should do that, too. You should, treat your regulars and
as an owner, not as a server.
Not as a server, right.
Yeah, so if you're just a bartender, non-owner, and somebody comes up and says, listen, I'm here, twice a week, and I'm the only one at your bar, you should maybe, cut me a deal. Then that server should say, maybe I shouldn't be open for lunch then.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I'm going to look at this from a customer standpoint. If a bartender comes over and says, hey, I got you your food on time, I got you all the drinks you asked for, you should leave me a bigger tip. That's your job.
Right.
I go to the restaurant on a regular basis because I want to. I like it there.
That's right.
I should want the place to stay open. If I expect above and beyond, then I should give above and beyond. I never saw that kind of, excluding one corporate place that we won't discuss because that was grossly bad on the bartender's behavior, but that's different. But on a locally owned, I didn't see those kind of kickbacks. I don't know if you call them kickbacks, but free drinks or whatever until we really started Neighbor Yard.
Because you became part of the
bringing-
industry.
We're part of the industry, but we're bringing people in.
Right.
You know, if we're here one day and we bring 30 people in for a figure drawing event and they're all eating and drinking, and next time I see Carl, this is a hypothetical, Jeff, don't give me that look, and Carl wants to buy me a drink, that makes sense to me. Why is that?
Let me guess, it's draft beer.
It's draft beer, and then Jeff Nardone's like, I didn't think you sold draft beer. But no, but like that's when I started to see people be like, hey, let me get you a drink, or oh, lunch is on me, kind of thing. And it made sense to me because I'm bringing people into your business and helping you, and that's your way of being like, hey, I appreciate you.
Right.
Yep, that makes sense. So if you're a regular who's there every Friday night drinking and paying and whatever, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
You're a regular.
Right.
You
Right.
made that choice to come in.
Yeah,
If
you don't have to.
If you book, if
You're
you
not
get
a
your
regular because you're getting free beer. You
Right.
if you bring in your company's Christmas party, maybe I'm going to buy you lunch. Maybe I'm going to buy a shot. That if you're going to go above and beyond for your local place, they should kick you back a free drink now and again. And if you are a regular and you know the owners well enough, they'll buy you a beer.
I was going to say, I think good owners that are in their business enough and are involved enough recognize people that are more than just regulars and try to reciprocate the appreciation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people like Inebri are, and or fellow bar owners like in town that you've borrowed stuff from before, and they give you a drink when you come into their place, like the 70 White Claws I've drank while we were podcasting today. When that guy comes in with his wife, you're like, hey, like make sure they get thrown a couple drinks, or like, you know what I mean? And that's just known, and it becomes natural and easy. It's just sort of like a easy hunter-gatherer, checks and balances kind of approach.
The second
to it,
you don't
like,
deserve it is when you ask for it.
yeah.
But if you're asking
Exactly.
for it and you're the only one in the room, you're just
You're just douche.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're douche. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah,
person
I mean,
inside the
come
bar.
on.
that
I don't
wants
care
to-
how-
you know the business is
right.
struggling. You know you're the only one, and you're going to leverage that. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of douche
Great
are you?
point.
That's all. I'm gonna
Great.
say.
So, yes, it is a normal mentality. No, it is not acceptable. I feel like that answers that. We answered a question, Jordan.
Shame.
Kind of. We just go off on so many
Yeah,
different.
I don't even remember what the question was.
I wasn't here for
I
it.
forgot
I
you
was
were
in the
still here,
bathroom.
Dan.
Some guy
You
was
ran out of
asking
questions.
Someone was asking for free drinks. Dan.
Yeah.
All right, this is from
Dan tuned it right off after free drinks. He's like, I'm not listening to these.
I work in Southie. No free drinks.
this is Richard Pabst, just like the beer. Bartenders that become owners, where do you get the money? What is the hardest part, and one thing you wish you could do over again? Yeah, I suppose
you
it
get the
doesn't have any
money from
bartenders.
borrowing.
Yeah,
Same way you buy
Not
a car.
true. Not me. But go ahead.
or partners. You can.
No, they said, where do you get the money?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they obviously want to become something, and they offer him something. Where do you get that money to become the part owner?
Yeah,
You would have to borrow it, just like a loan. I mean,
Yeah.
any kind of loan that you would get, car loan, house loan.
or luck of
Partners.
genetics.
And what was the other part of the question?
What would you do differently?
I would do everything differently. I mean, you could always, hindsight is what do they say?
2020.
2020.
You'd keep some things.
We don't
you've
say
done, no?
2020 anymore.
2021.
Hindsight's 2021.
You set yourself up.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Carl's
But,
his own straight man.
Yeah, I mean, you would,
been trying
you
to
would
set that
always
joke up.
change
Walked right into
something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could really have the most.
Yeah, but you'd keep some things
You
you've
would keep,
done, right?
Oh, yeah. But you would always
yeah.
change something.
Right, but
There's
is there
always
anything,
something you would change.
is there anything specifically that you could think of off the top of your mind that right away, like what would you change? Because you're self-made, man.
Well, you could change my marketing. I would have been, back when I was opening up, there was no Facebook.
Mhm.
3 people had cell phones. I think my wife was one of them, and that was it. I
Didn't you
marketing-
open last year?
Yeah.
He thinks Facebook's.
And I gave her the phone for Christmas.
2012, right?
11.
11.
But it wasn't that big. There was no Instagram, and Facebook either just came out or nobody was really into it.
It was
yet.
college based. Yeah, it wasn't even
marketing,
about.
Nope.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go
they
into a
really
new
didn't
bar
have
now,
that
you're seeing
marketing. So
Chargers.
I would have really
Yeah.
done more marketing in the beginning, rather than putting
A flyer up there.
Yeah, no, I just put a chalkboard sign out said now open. That was it. Nobody
Yeah.
knew us. Nobody knew we were opening. Nobody knew anything about us.
we did have like Beer
So I would
Advocate
change
and stuff like that. That's how I found you guys.
Yeah, but
The beer community
again,
kinda
I
drove
would
it.
have done more with it.
Yeah, right.
So if I was to change something, and I would change a million things. That would probably be the biggest.
There's so many things, like you said, that weren't around when you first started. So now you're like, oh shit, I wish I didn't use telemarketing.
I wish I'd known the power of what that has today.
Yep.
That didn't have back then, but you could go on Facebook and promote it, but nobody else was on Facebook, so nobody would have saw it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's funny. It's one of those things too. Like you're trying to keep up with all that stuff, but you're also trying to focus on your business and make sure as domestically, like as core and close to the heart as possible. You're trying to make that work too. Like it's the day to day and right what's in front of your face. It's really hard to keep up with how fast things are moving, especially technologically. Like marketing is a great example.
Yep.
Like I can do Instagram and Facebook because, I was a little later than Carl. My place opened a couple of years later and that stuff was starting to get rolling. And I focused a lot on that. Sort of as a great advertising opportunity. But then all of a sudden then there's Snapchat and TikTok and all that. And I'm so focused and in my groove on Instagram and Facebook.
You don't see
I don't know
what's
how the
coming
fuck,
out next.
I don't know how those things work.
Right,
and then
right.
eventually Facebook is going to be, and Instagram are going to be obsolete. And it's going to be all TikTok and Snapchat and whatever. I'm not even saying it right at this point.
Napster and all that.
Napster and Winamax and Pornhub. And, eventually you're going to need an OnlyFans to make any business. So like I need
You don't
it's
have one of those
really,
already?
it's difficult. You've seen a lot of companies start to outsource and hire marketing companies and stuff so they can stay on top of that shit because it's a full-time fucking job.
Yeah,
Marketing
and
is
it's
huge.
one of those, you can have the best TikTok in the world, but if I come in and be like, hey, I saw your wings on TikTok, and be like, yeah, I forgot to order wings because I was busy making my TikTok videos.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Yep.
Like, you're not gonna-
There's
yeah.
only so many minutes in the day.
So I guess the answer to the question is you're always going to change something.
Right.
You're always going to
So
change
I suppose that's the thing is
Well,
like,
if you're not, then you're probably not going to make it.
yeah,
so.
don't
If
shy,
you're not, you're out of business.
don't shy away from change.
Nope.
Like,
Yeah.
you see, like on these kitchen nightmare type shows where, like, it's been this family-owned restaurant that hasn't changed in 45 years, and they go in to film like while everyone's eating, and everyone there is like 90 and above.
Yep.
Right.
It's like, yeah, no shit, they're failing. Like, they haven't
Right.
changed. They haven't tried to modernize. The place looks like it's from a Goodfellas movie. You have to constantly try to change and stay, topical.
Current. Yeah.
Current.
You have to adapt. You have to, and that's a lot of thing that gets lost on some businesses, restaurants included, is marketing is huge and your audience grows out. So like Speedwell, for the first 6 years, we had our crew of 21 to 25 year olds. Well, they get married. They get big boy jobs.
They have kids now.
They have kids now. And guess what? You need, it just doesn't, you don't take that 21 to 25 year old crew and grow up with them until they're 70 years old. No, you get it's like a draft, like an NFL draft. You get a new group of 21 to 25 year olds that you need to appeal to every single year.
Can you imagine that? Like, if you guys got to draft your customers and like whoever
we could do a whole episode.
whoever had the worst sales
did the
got
chef
the first draft pick. yeah.
Still getting shit about that one.
The chef trap when we're doing Mike Wisdom versus Jim
Yeah, we
Casey,
only get shit from Heather Casey because we give Jim an ego. That's all. We still love them both. This one's from Jesse Freeman, and I think it's a crazy ass question, but because I can't believe it's a question. So I'm pretty sure I had a patron try and rip a urinal off the wall because we wouldn't let him play music while the Army versus Navy game was on the sound system. Temper tantrum or justifiable? How could that be fucking justifiable? Like, that
Next question.
is the most ridiculous question.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, that's insane.
There's only one
As someone
reason to
who's
rip
dealt
a
with
urinal
stuff
off
like
the
that,
friggin' wall.
Which is
Right,
it's
Dan?
broken.
Right.
Yeah.
There are two reasons why you would be ripping.
what was the first one?
Oh, forget it.
You really needed a urinal. I don't know.
This is
First time Jordan used a urinal First time Jordan used a urinal, his back got all wet.
I
You sat in it.
don't know where we're at.
I get it.
This is from TJ Slaughter. We have
What a name.
yeah.
Nice.
That sounds like a wrestler.
Is he a
right?
sergeant? Is he a sergeant?
Yeah.
Is that Sergeant TJ?
Have any of y'all ever heard of a server job drug testing for hire, and if so, where?
How the fuck would you have employees?
Well, which drugs, first of all? Because, there's some drugs
there's
you
some.
don't want in your house.
Yeah.
You serving
You know,
crackers and wine at a church? Like, I don't know.
I find that a very strange question. Yeah.
You would have very slim pickings.
Yes, the answer is
First of all, most drugs are sold out of kitchens.
Yeah.
So
All the good ones, at least.
Now all these drugs are legal.
Especially in Oregon.
Yeah.
Get anything.
Oregon, Washington State.
Yep.
tell TJ to move to Oregon.
No drug test there, buddy.
Or Massachusetts, we'll hire you.
They love drugs, y'all.
So here's the interesting thing: is I worked for a company that did drug testing.
Was it a kitchen?
No, it was not.
There we go.
But so when marijuana became legal in this state, people suddenly became curious for just curious sake, not asking for any reason. Were they going to continue to drug test for marijuana? And the company was, yes, we have federal contracts and it's federally illegal.
Okay.
So I suppose like if you work for a chain restaurant, maybe.
I worked for chain restaurants.
I still can't
no way
imagine.
you could
I still
drug
can't
test
imagine.
Maybe it's in their like handbook that says like they will, but they just realize that we're not going to have anybody working here if we.
I mean,
do
I've
that.
never read the handbooks I was given. They sat in my backseat of my car until I sold the car. So,
But you did sign the piece of paper saying you read it.
Of course, just
Yeah,
like did you read the licensing agreements of that phone you're holding right now? When you
you click the box.
you just go, of course I accept.
No, I left it in the back of Dan's car.
And then, it's the human
Somebody
center
keeps on
pad.
trying to sell me cookies, and I'm like, yeah, I accept the cookies. Accept the cookies.
They never show up.
Haven't gotten them yet.
Oh
I
man!
don't even ask you what kind.
Kira Tate. Hey everybody, I gotta know, does anyone here charge for hot water with lemon?
Yeah, it's
What?
called tea.
I suppose, yeah. I suppose. I
I
mean,
mean, lemons cost money. You're also taking the place of somebody that might have sat there and drank something for real. So, but no, I don't.
I've had the place I've
You
done
know,
that
I
for
would say it
in a while,
depends.
so.
You get
Yeah.
some person that you come in that is just trying to get out of the cold, and like, I got to charge you something. So he just doesn't hang there all day long.
yeah.
But if it's a big crowd and you know there's 6-7 people at the table, and somebody says, "Hey, can I just get some, hot water with lemon?" It's just like
Who the hell drinks hot water with
which we
lemon?
don't charge.
Old people.
Right.
Well,
Jeff.
sorry.
Yes.
No, it's actually my wife. Went on a anti-caffeine stretch. We talked about sober Januaries. This was one of those caffeine-free
She
binges.
tired September.
And if we went out for breakfast, she would order hot water with lemon. And to me, that's a drink. To her, that was a drink. Like, you're asking them to prepare you something, so why wouldn't you pay for it?
Yeah.
So it would end up on the bill, and we would pay for it.
I just
or
feel-
it wouldn't. I mean, it wasn't something that we looked for.
I feel like if
Right.
I ordered
But
hot
hot
water
tea
and
with
lemon,
lemon
I'd
is
have
a
a tea bag in my
prepared
pocket.
It is.
It's a prepared drink. Why
It's
wouldn't
not
you
just
pay
you're
for
not just
Well,
paying for the
here's a
lemon
joke.
wedge, and I know everybody's water doesn't cost money, but the dishes that are getting done, the time that's getting taken to do that, bring it to your table, you're paying for the service too. That's part of it, and
Yeah.
if it gets thrown on the tea bags aren't expensive either. You're gonna pay for tea.
Honestly, to Carl's point, the only thing missing is the tea bag to make that something you would pay for. So,
Right.
And I
can
think
can I get a burger without whatever?
they're not
Can I
gonna
get-
deduct.
Can I
That's
get
right.
tea with lemon without the tea?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And I kind of feel
why
like,
wouldn't you pay for it?
to Carl's point, if I came in and ordered a sandwich and that was my drink, then I'd expect to see it. If I was out with a table of 10 people and everyone was drinking and I happened to order that, as a server, I probably wouldn't waste my time putting it on the tab.
If it was on the tab, I wouldn't be upset, but at the same time, I'd be like,
I would
if
be
it
upset
wasn't,
if it
I-
wasn't either.
Right. I'd be like, and as an owner, if I saw the waitress did that, I'd be like, yeah, I don't fucking charge her for that. Like, what the
Right.
hell? They've been in and just slamming fireball shots all night.
As a rule,
You should probably
I
have
hope
2
he
hot
drinks some water.
waters.
Yeah.
as a rule of thumb, generally, the stuff they bring you for free is usually free. Like when they walk out and there's water at your table, you should assume you're not paying for the ice water
Right.
or the
Well,
bread they brought out.
Let's take it.
I don't get charged for bread when I walk into a restaurant that does bread and oil
Right.
at the table. That's what they're giving you before you order, and so
Now, let
if
me.
you
well,
order
let's-
something, it's you
Right.
you
Let's
pay
let's take this to the next level. So somebody orders chips and dip.
Yeah.
Whatever the dip may be, and then later on they're like, "Oh, can we get some more chips?" Are they charged for the chips?
Well, that's internal.
That's That's a case by case.
Would you expect to get charged for the chips?
I don't know. They sitting there drinking hot water with lemon in it and eating free chips and dip.
Well, did they just order hot water and lemon?
Right.
Or did they order a meal?
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah, that's a case
there's
by
10
case.
of them, and they're all drinking.
Right.
Hey,
Are they
here's
in
some more
5 times a
chips.
week, or
Yeah,
is this the
more
first time you
chips,
saw
some
this
more chips.
person?
Yeah.
They sitting there playing Keno, or they you see them 5 times a week and they bring other people in and blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess that's a case.
Did
by
they
case
get a
basis.
couple buckets
Did they
of
ask for like
margarita?
5?
Yeah, right.
Now,
Want to help sober them up a little?
now what if
Bingo.
You might give them chips.
what if you went in, what if you went into a place and they were like, "Oh, would you like some of our bread with oil?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." And they bring it out, and now it's on the tap.
Yeah, that's a technique that restaurants have been doing forever.
And it's with water, too. Would you like some bottled water? Sure, we'll take a bottle of water.
Yeah.
It's $7.50.
Yep.
For a friggin' bottled water.
It's
Right.
delicious, though.
Now,
Yeah, it's good.
I think if you
I like the
offer
bubbles.
it and it's got a charge to it, you need to tell me.
Well, I mean,
Well, because you say, would you like some nachos to start?
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not going to give them to you for free.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's certain things like if you said, "Would you like a bottle of water?" I wouldn't expect that to be an expense.
I would expect it to be
Yeah.
an expense, because why are you asking
would you
me?
like
If it
to
was
buy
free
the Brooklyn Bridge?
and you just bring it,
Yeah.
you just bring it over.
Well,
you know what I mean?
it's the upsell aspect of it. I feel like
That's how restaurants work. baby.
no, I get it. But it's like I feel like there's a certain amount of like. I don't
Well,
know.
go back to the hot water. You're charging them for hot water and a lemon. Do you charge somebody for water and a lemon?
No,
Oh,
but
that
that
hot
person
water-
ordered it.
Why? Because it's hot, it's cold.
Well,
Yeah.
it costs money to heat the water.
Right. But
Now
you're giving
now it's ice.
everybody in the building the water with the lemon. It's just something you've always done, so it's expected.
So you
You've
should
worked
charge
that
them
in.
$5 for a water.
You've worked that into your price, but did you expect everybody, after their meal to order hot water and lemon too? Have you set the expectation that they were going to get that for free after they finish their steak?
The question is what I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying.
I
So
love
no,
how the
I would
dumbest
just-
when I
questions
ask
we
a
spend the most
question-
time on.
But no, this is the thing. This is what you have to think
It's a
about.
rocky road.
Yeah,
here we are
it's
down
never
now.
it's not a clear.
The rabbit hole is a deep one.
Yeah.
I mean, the rule of thumb has to be if it's a prepared drink and someone made an effort to make it, then you pay for the effort.
Right, but where's the line drawn? Is pouring water into a glass? Is pouring water into a cup a made drink? Because you could argue that pouring beer into a glass.
I'm charging you for a soda water.
Well, if everyone's getting
Why
hot
not
water,
charge them for regular water?
if everyone's getting hot water and lemon at their table, fine. That's the standard. But if I have to ask for something and you do ice water with lemon at the table, and now I have to ask you for hot water with lemon at the table, now I'm asking you to do something that you don't.
But-
that's not
so-
part of the process.
Correct.
So now
Probably not even on the menu.
even if you don't pay for that, you should tip for that effort. Like someone did
Agreed.
something
But-
that's not on the menu that worked extra hard.
Let me kind of like reframe this a little bit, and it's a hot button issue, so I'm sure Fish will mute my mic.
Click.
Yeah. You're at the click, right? So, do you tip at McDonald's?
No.
I used to.
Do you tip at Dunkin' Donuts? And,
Yes.
And where's the difference?
There is none. Perception. It's a
tip jar.
perception. It's a tip jar.
Yeah.
Absolutely
If they
right.
had a tip jar, I would.
Yeah. So it kind of becomes like whereas it's a very gray line, and you're not wrong for being on either side of it, Fish. And I don't tip at Dunkin' Donuts. Sorry. I don't tip at McDonald's, so I don't tip at Dunkin' Donuts.
But now nobody tips because they get the card. Jink. Doink.
Yeah.
Doink.
But this is the crazy
Doink.
thing.
Bing, bang, boom.
So,
right.
like, I have
Shazam.
literally
Goodfellas reference again.
had
I got it.
people like
I thought it was Angelo's.
openly badmouth me for not tipping at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, Dunkin' Donuts I hit on a daily basis because I pay in cash, and I'll hear them be like, "Oh, it's these fucking guys again." Like, I'm right here, I can hear you, but then the 4 guys in front of me used a card or the app.
Right.
They didn't tip.
Right.
Right.
It's to me, it's the craziest thing.
Go to a different Dunkin' Donuts.
There's way.
You know what? I don't.
crazier
I
things.
go local now.
Yeah.
So.
The drive-through thing for generations that didn't get everything on demand all the time.
Yeah.
The drive-through thing was different.
It's
it
the-
wasn't
it's the-
like
it's
going
the
to a
coffee
restaurant
shop
and
thing.
you were tipping for the effort
Yeah.
of the server, right, and the service. And so, yeah, they're serving you, but you're taking a lot out. Like it's like tipping. Growing up, I didn't tip D'Angelo's for the sub they made me.
Right.
Right.
But
D'Angelo's guy does
Moe's
a lot
asked
more
me
work
for a
for
tip.
you than the Dunkin' Donuts guy that just reached behind him and got a donut.
everyone just
Right.
got ballsy enough to ask for the tip.
Yeah.
And then they realized that people cave. at a time. And so I can't. As a sales guy and an entrepreneur,
I guess the question would be if you knew,
can't blame
we
them
don't
for
know
being-
what anybody makes, and I don't think I should ever know. But if they're making $4 an hour and
but that's the thing.
relying on tips,
Dunkin'
or
Donuts,
are they making $15 an hour and just trying to get more money?
Dunkin'
There's a big difference.
Donuts does not make server wages; they make regular wages.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, what are they doing? Are they going extra and overboard for you? Do they know you are the 8 o'clock guy that rolls up at the right time and they throw you an extra croissant or a munchkin every now and again? Like, then you're paying
They get
for
your
the
coffee
regular.
ready before you even get to the register.
When you say I want the regular or whatever, and they make it just perfect, and you really like it, and you feel inspired, drop them a buck.
So I'll give you the perfect example. I go to Kiskadee for my breakfast now. I don't even order. I just walk up and they're like,
so you should tip that person because they know
I
you.
do
and they're
because
providing-
they do a service.
I wasn't saying you didn't.
Okay.
I was just
sorry. I'm used to these
Bring
guys
it up,
that
guys.
accuse me.
Bring it
of
up.
not-
I was gonna.
I've been married 23
All right.
years. I'm used to people disagreeing with me.
I was gonna say. So when I came up, I think it was a Dunkin' Donuts culture thing too. And I don't know. This is just me. And I think it's different for us because we grew up in Massachusetts because Dunkin' Donuts are on every fucking corner. Like it's not like that in the rest of the world.
Do you mean
Dunkin'
most
Donuts-
restaurants don't have nicknames like Dunkies?
Yeah, and like they're like
SNL skits.
right, and like Starbucks is a little
Wellies.
different too, and they don't accept tips at any Starbucks that I go to. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's getting away from the main point. When I was coming up and Dunkin' Donuts were like really starting to thrive, it was always like the girls you went to high school with that were working there, and they called you honey, and they remembered your order, and it was like they wrote your name in cute letters and on the fucking thing, and you were like, all right, like, I know this girl. Like, they're all my age, and, like, I'm grabbing my coffee before, during the summer, in summer vacation, and, like, I'm supporting somebody I'm in class with, and might want to hook up with her, too, like, whatever. And it was, like, it was personal. It felt like you didn't feel like you were going to a chain restaurant. Maybe.
It was sexually
hopefully,
personal?
They weren't good enough to
So it sounds like she wants to give you money.
They weren't good enough to make the
Sleep with
Mary
you.
So
Lou's
you're
calendar.
giving her money so she can sleep with you.
Yeah.
Even though you were walking...
Services rendered.
Even though you were walking into a place that felt like it was corporate and like a chain and all that, it was personal because they remember, like Andy was saying, they remembered your order.
Right.
They did all that, blah, 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 blah. So it felt like they got your coffee right, they got this right, you got the personal interaction, blah, 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 blah.
She's a whore.
Keep going. But that's why you tipped. You wanted to tip. You wanted to be like, oh, thank you for getting me in and out of here real quick and like fucking
Just the tip.
keep going.
I feel
Keep digging yourself deeper, Carl.
I feel like it is a holdover because
deeper.
when I was a kid, Dunkin' Donuts was a coffee shop. There was a counter that people sat at.
Right.
Right. And I think it's changed. That's the point I was getting to.
It changed, but I feel like that tip mentality has just carried over from when it was a coffee shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the point I was trying to get to, but Carl was
I still don't tip
doing
there.
his thing.
He was giving you the
He's doing his
point.
creepy stuff. But, you know what I
Don't
mean?
you think you'd know when the service is that good that you want to give them a good tip? Like that inspiration. Like, it's that good of a service, or they
Right.
did something special for me, so I'm going to tip them. It's not the Dunkin' Donuts charging you something 05 so that there's 95 cents in change that they just
Right.
assume.
And then you're standing there with their hand out and your hand out and they're looking at you.
In the one time,
Yeah.
the one time you don't think about it and you have your hand out the window and they don't want to give it to you. And they're surprised that you want the 95. That's the time that drives you over the edge. Right?
There was
Am I-
one time,
Yeah.
I don't remember what fast food place it was, but like my change was like 2 cents and the guy just took the 2 cents and threw it on top. Not even like a tip jar, just on top of the register. And I'm like, that's my fucking 2 cents. Like,
Yeah, it's your money.
that's my money.
Doesn't matter what the
Yeah.
increment
Yeah,
is.
I was just
to
like,
assume that.
I was
like,
so
immediately now I
pissed
don't
that,
want
like,
to do
yeah.
it. Right.
Right. It's the assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
We don't really want your 2 cents either.
no.
Definitely don't.
That is one thing I've learned through 70 some odd episodes of this to be very true. But that's last call. So last call is where we go
Last
around
call.
the table and get everyone's final notes, and they can say basically whatever the hell they want, and mostly doesn't get edited. So we're gonna start with Jeff Nardone from Mayflower Brewery because he's the guest, and
Tough
I
one.
like putting him on the spot. So whatever you want, Jeff.
Whatever I want. Right now, you know what I want more than anything else?
Tell me what you want. What
Watch
you really,
the Chelsea
really want.
game.
Jordan, the Chelsea game's over. I've been stuck in this podcast.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Chelsea game is over, but I will watch it anew. So I want
In my head, it's Chelsea playing Lynn.
Yeah, no, I want three things. Here's what I want.
He only asked you for one, though.
I want a franchise quarterback for the Patriots. I need a tight end and a defensive lineman. That's what I want.
Okay.
Those are the three things I want right there. For the New England Patriots, transition after Tom Brady has been so not Belichick, and now I'm very frustrated. And
But at least we're not the Jets, just giving up that first.
we are the Jets, right? Dan. We are the Jets. We don't have a quarterback. We can't stop a run.
Well, considering Bob Kraft, I'm sure
that's what I want.
All right, I'm sure that will be taken into consideration.
Fair enough.
We'll go around the table. Jordan.
I don't know. I want to do a sports one now, man. Like, Jeff's got me inspired. Red Sox fucking sign a couple starting pitchers. No, I'm only kidding. I got nothing. Just, I guess, get out, support local, order takeout. I really, I don't know. It's, I have no one to plug. I have nothing to do. I'm not plugging Speedwell because I don't know if we're going to get shut down in 2 weeks. But, yeah. And hey, you know what? I got one. If you got a gift card or you bought a gift card before or for Christmas, hold on to that thing for a little bit and let's get through the thick of this COVID shit and then use it afterwards. I'll probably reward you at Speedwell for doing so. Maybe even buy you a drink. Who knows? Maybe a nice hot water with lemon.
or you could just tip the same as your gift card.
Oh, that's baller. I'll take it.
You got a free meal. You might as well tip him.
Hey,
Carl, New World.
I would say, peace on earth, goodwill toward men.
I don't believe him.
Just men.
There it is.
We brought it back.
There it is. Jesus. All right, Dan. I'm not following that shit up.
I would just like to dedicate to all the takeout people that Andy doesn't tip. When you see him coming.
Just Dunkin' Donuts, man. Just Dunkin' Donuts.
Fuck up that coffee, you know what?
Just Dunkin' Donuts.
Stop going to
over roast his beans. Fucking give him extra cream.
I don't drink coffee, and they're like, "Oh, is it okay that the Coke's warm?" We're like, "No, it's not." You wonder why you don't get a tip.
Well, I mean, you should stop going to Dunkin' Donuts.
Sorry. Go on.
Don't. If you see him coming to Dunkin' Donuts, just lock the doors. Tell him,
not a future sponsor. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll tip you.
Is that it?
That's it.
You're gonna go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I just
Defend your honor.
I interrupted him, so I didn't want to interrupt him at the end. So Jeff was shouting out sports, and so was Jordan a little bit. And I just want to say that
he doesn't know what sports are.
I do. They're the thing with the ball. And there was an important article.
That's not what Kyle calls it.
There's an important thing that's been going on, and it's the arts that have not been getting the support. Everyone's focusing on how can we get NFL and NBA back playing, and these athletes and blah blah blah. Concerts aren't happening. Theaters performances aren't happening. So there's a lot of performers, musicians that are out of work. Find a way to support them. Go to Bandcamp, download their album. Find a way to socially distance in a theater. It's not just about the guy who's going to throw the ball the furthest. Sometimes, we need to support those future De Niro's and Brad Pitts and people.
It is if they play for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, they can sing really well while they're throwing that ball that far, too.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Even better.
Do the national
But how many bands are going to go unnoticed because this was their year, and we'll miss out on the future Guns N' Roses because they just didn't happen this year. So find a way to support your arts. It's important. Or you can support a local podcast by following us on social media. How about that fucking segment?
Nice.
Right? Yeah.
That was veteran.
On social media.
Should we tip you?
At Bar Talkcast on all social medias.
Segue.
Yeah, I totally fucking forgot what I was doing. I was so happy about it. You can email your questions to @bartalkcast@gmail.com, and we'll kind of sort of answer them. You can send us your hate mail. We haven't gotten hate mail in a while. Jordan doesn't shit on anyone.
You're welcome.
Jordan hasn't shit on anyone in a while, so I think that might be.
I have definitely shit on people a lot, and nobody has the balls.
Hey, maybe we'll get some Dunkin' Donuts hate mail. Bring it.
We probably will.
I'm cool with that.
That's a good call.
I was waiting for
Jeff to say something. But make sure you follow us, all our podcasts, all our restaurants, breweries, whatever. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebriart or on Instagram at Inebriart6. You can email us at inebriart@yahoo.com. And make sure you listen to the other podcasts on the Inebriart Podcast Network, including Bar Talk, Old Colony Cast, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror Podcast, and our newest one, Theme Park Legends, a podcast about working at theme parks. What else? And we'll catch you again next time.